R. Kelly was convicted of racketeering. Okay, so this is really a huge crime. So racketeering became a federal crime in 1970 under the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations, the RICO Act. And the charge is best known as a tool to prosecute organized crime that affects interstate commerce. So at the center of any racketeering case is the enterprise, the group entity carrying out the illegal conduct such as the mafia. So in this case, the enterprise is Kelly and his entourage, as well as his managers, bodyguards, drivers, and personal assistants and runners, according to the superseding indictment. So Kelly is described as the leader of the enterprise. It's been a 5-week long trial. So Kelly's defense attorney has criticized this act as a case against his client. He said, "We look forward to the truth and the facts coming to the light as the defense will continue to vigorously defend Mr. Kelly." Defense attorney Thomas Fernelia said in a statement to CNN before the trial. "After all, the RICO enterprise is based on a series of independent relationships and events that the government is trying to patch together, like different types of fabrics and trying to pass it off as silk." Okay. So, all right, so they said, first he used his power of his celebrity to recruit vulnerable underage girls for the purpose of sexually abusing them. And these were not May October relationships, which is what his defense attorney wanted the jury to believe. But these were crime against children and some adults. Allure said. So second, he would use his power of his business enterprise and many of his inner circle employees to assist him and enable him in his plan and his scheme to lure his victims to him, isolate them, intimidate them, and control them, indoctrinate them, punish them, shame them, and humiliate them. All of which made Mr. Kelly more powerful and more dangerous than many other sexual predators who operate without a network of financial and business to support and enable them, Allure had added. She also said another reason was that the government proved Kelly had genital herpes and did not disclose that information to victims or wear contraption to protect them. As a result, many of his victims contracted this STD from him and would be forced to suffer from it for the rest of their lives. Wow. The fourth reason, Lur said, in many cases, after grooming, isolating, and intimidating his child victims, recorded them being sexually abused and humiliated by them, he directed these videos and produced them, not only for his own sexual gratification, but in some instances for the purpose of using these videos to silence and threaten his victims with public exposure of these tapes if they ever reveal what he had done to them. Yeah. That's crazy, man. So these tapes were not sex tapes. They were child pornography, which is a crime. Allure said she was proud of her clients who spoke up and told the truth during the trial. R. Kelly thought he could get away with all of this, but he didn't, because despite the fact that he thought he could control all of his victims, he was wrong. Because of their courage and the outstanding work of federal agents and prosecutors in this case, justice has been done. Let this be a message to other celebrities who also use their fame to prey on their fans and others who are unfortunate enough to come to contact with them. You're also likely to face serious consequences for your criminal conduct. Wow, man. Yeah, it's not really looking too good for R. Kelly. They say he can really face decades in prison, like 30, 40 years, maybe to life in prison. I mean, and like I said, with this whole trial here, I know I've been getting like a lot of mixed feelings about it. I'm not trying to be like biased or anything if you're a fan, but wrong is wrong, man. I mean, it always I always had like a questioning, like, why did he marry Aaliyah? It probably started way before then, because I know he was sexually abused before. But if you know how that really felt, why would you do that to others? It would have been, R. Kelly could have got some help, man. But like I say, use his fame and his power and his influence to really do what he wanted to do, man. I mean, it really got out of hand. And it just goes to show you, like, no matter how much money you have, your money only can, get you out of darkness for so long at the end of the day, man. So, I mean, he made a lot of music for a lot of powerful music companies. But, I mean, this is crazy, and then you got to think about it too. Okay, what about the parents? Or so the parents, yeah, allowing their 14, 15-year-old be with R. Kelly so they can get that money or whatever. Same thing with the whole situation with Michael Jackson sleeping with children. You allowing because he ain't have a childhood. So you letting your 15, 16-year-old, but they said that wasn't even true though. So that's a whole nother situation. But my thing is this, man, from Illinois, they reached a verdict guilty on all 14 accounts. It's really not looking great. I just want to read here, which is really interesting from my previous videos, when I said the jurors heard from multiple witnesses who present at her age that Kelly on August 31st in 1994, when he was 27, all right, and she was 15, a minor, Prosecutors showed copies. They had copies and evidence of the couple's marriage license application, which listed Aaliyah's age as 18 at the time of their wedding. So remember, you know, he had the stores guy, he bribed his former tour manager, Demetrius Smith, when he testified reluctantly that he bribed a worker at a welfare office. Okay, Demetrius Smith bribed a worker at a welfare office in Chicago area to create a welfare ID for Aaliyah to make her of age, so he can go ahead. You know, that's why they end up getting married at the airport in Chicago. He made her the welfare office worker an offer, and she took the money and gave her $500. So while the ID did not list Aaliyah's date of birth, an Illinois official testified on September 15 that generally a person has to be at least 18 to obtain that particular type of ID. So you had Nathan Edmond, a minister who married the two, spoke publicly for the first time about the marriage while testifying September 1st, said he met the couple the day he married them. I didn't think it was anybody special. I didn't understand it at all. Juror also heard from a woman who identified herself only as Stephanie, who said she met Kelly at an event in Chicago in 1999 when she was 17, and that he eventually invited her to his studio. I remember him asking me my age, Stephanie testified, when I said I was 17, and he said it was fine. Stephanie testified that Kelly sexually abused her when she was 17 and recorded them having sex. He paid for her travel to Florida to meet him on her 18th birthday, and she stopped speaking with him shortly after the trip. She described fearing his angry outburst, saying he would yell at her in public places. A former radio intern who identified herself as Sonja testified that Kelly invited her to travel to Chicago to interview him at his studio in 2003. When she was 21, and that once she arrived, an employee put her in a room that Sonja quickly realized was locked from the outside. So she said she was kept in the room for several days, occasionally let out to go to the bathroom and shower. The door was locked and I wanted to get out. Sonja testified she lost consciousness after eating her first meal in days and saw Kelly adjusting his pants when she woke up. She testified and she believed he sexually assaulted her when she was unconscious. Dang, man. So R. Kelly will be sentenced on May 4th. He will be sentenced on May 4th in connection with the racketeering sex trafficking charges. A jury made up of 7 men and 5 women. So this is a little bit more. It was a little bit diverse. An attorney said the attorney is considering filing an appeal and is disappointed in the verdict. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a reversal. He's trying to fight for reversal of the decision here because, I mean, he could potentially do life in prison for this. Racketeering is a serious crime. 14 underlying acts that include sexual exploitation of child kidnapping, bribery, and sex trafficking charges, and also face 8 additional counts of violations of the Mann Act, which is AKA the sex trafficking law. So yeah, they deliberated. I was just like, man. So when I got the notification, I was like, man, R. Kelly's in some deep trouble, man. But hey, it's all the evidence is here, man. So this was a 5-week trial, man. Yeah, his future ain't looking bright at all. But I kind of just want to report this, man. You guys continue to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. You guys tell me what you guys think about this, man. This is your boy Young Lee Jr. Yeah, man, it's kind of done for R. Kelly. I'm out. Deuces.